Welcome, welcome everybody to the Body Harmonics podcast. I'm Renee McLaughlin, and today I am once again joined by one of my absolute besties, Dr. Kym Caporale. And if you don't know, Dr. Kym is a doctor of Oriental Medicine and a doctor of acupuncture, which is just, I have so much respect for that because I know how much you've learned and how much integrated so much of, as I love it when you call it, your medicine,
I know
right?
you do.
Along with, though, the Western medicine, because you are also a speech pathologist and you've also worked Western, so you have this beautiful integration of all of it. And I think that's one of the many things that make you such a beautiful healer.
Oh,
And
thank you. Thank you.
I love to use the word healer because to me that's a different thing than doctor, although the actual word for doctor is educator, is it not?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
So today the reason that I'm joined with Dr. Kym is because we are talking super patch. And whoa, I'm so blown away with super patch. So all that to say, so Kym, tell me why you are now calling it beyond the needle. What's going on in your healing world?
Well, thanks for having me on here. And your kind words. I think that I call it beyond the needle because it's so much more beyond the needle. So, the needle being the acupuncture needle, and I've used it for 27 years. And it's a tool of my trade.
Mm,
And I love the needle. But what I can do with the super patch, more than the needle, is I can reach more people with that patch, and the patch even speaks stronger to the body than the needle, because you can't wear an acupuncture needle all day long. When you sleep, you can't. I'm not there with my patients before they go to bed. So
good point.
that's why it's beyond the needle, right? So it doesn't mean that I've given up completely putting needles in people, but my people now have a choice, and or we can combine it and extend the acupuncture treatment
Mhm,
when they leave the office, or
mhm.
boost the needle's effectiveness, enhancing what the acupuncture needle can do. So that's why I actually have a time when all I do is patch. I don't do acupuncture, but it has the same results and same method of an acupuncture needle. It still has the vibration. It still has the what's beautiful. It's non-invasive.
Mhm.
Convince people. Many people don't come to acupuncture because, oh my gosh, we're scared of needles. You know,
Right.
they say that all the time. I mean, people lay on your table and you're going to give them acupuncture, and they have sweaty palms, right? And
No.
and already the muscles are tight. So, and this technology of the patches, it's sensory integration therapy. It is, right? It's
Yes.
neuroscience. It's used in rehabilitation. I mean, the method has been used. So anyway, yeah, that's why I can be on the needle, because there's so much more.
I love that. So I've been listening to Jay Dollywell, who was the inventor, founder, developer, brilliant systems engineer. And he talks about how he began and created this and the immense amount of data that went into this. And I mean, the development of it is just truly breathtaking. And the thing that I really got this time as I'm listening to him, so I'm going to do my own little explanation, and please share
Sure.
with me if I misspeak. But this is how I interpreted his words about this. So in our amazing brain, the brain has very specific programs that it's running for every one of our body systems. Now, guys, think about how many body systems we have, first of all. I mean, our heart rate, our breathing, our immune system, our hormones. I mean, we could just go on and on. We get that, right? So it's so intricate. It's mind-boggling. But each of these systems have a very specific program. And I love calling it program because I think we can all understand from computers that it's all software being programmed into this hardware. And the programs, however, don't speak English, French, or Spanish. It speaks in wavelengths, it speaks in frequency. So as Jay was decoding all these different programs, he was able then to figure out that programming speech in terms of waves and frequency. Now, Chinese medicine, particularly acupuncture, is very much based on frequency, is it
Right.
not?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And we're all living in frequency. We know, you guys, everybody knows if you're watching this, that everything has a frequency. And there is a certain amount of entrainment that we also know. So, for example, if you have tuning forks and you click a tuning fork and you put another one next to it, this one will tend to entrain. That's how frequency works. So, I've now been doing this big, intricate study on the new science that we're learning and emerging about fascia. And so I see this so beautifully intertwined now because when you put, so all that to say, he was able to encode this, figure it out, but then, okay, now you have it encoded. What do we do with it? Well, here's the big idea, you guys, that each program has a blueprint, meaning when it's
Right.
running perfectly, this is what the program is. This is the frequency, the wavelength of that perfect program. But you guys, if you've been living on this planet more than 3 seconds, what all can go on with the program? Well, we can have emotions that give a little click out on that perfect program. We can have toxicity. We can have infection. We can have dehydration. We can have no, you guys get the picture, right? So many things that can bring it out of alignment. Okay. And we're all completely individual as it comes to this. So as a human being, as a body, yeah, we're very, very similar. But of all this, we're very individual. So that being said, he's like, okay, well, let's then get to put in a wavelength, okay, which looks almost like braille, okay, that will actually send wavelengths, frequency from the skin up to the brain that can now send new information, blueprint information to that particular place in the brain where the brain now has new information and it can go, oh, no, wait, that's right. There's a memory of that old information because it's blueprint. And now the brain goes, oh, well, wait a second. Let me see if I can come back into that blueprint. And of course, over time, you continue to wear that particular patch. It continues to reset and maybe even for good or for until something else happens. That's a research. I don't know that that's been going on. But anyway, that's my understanding of possibility. So I'm like so blown away now having even that bit of more understanding about what's going on. And then we say, all right, but you put this on your skin. How does it get from here to the brain? And he describes it as ion channels in the skin and the tactile. And how do you know? And okay, I get all that. I'm going to take it further and I'm going to say through the friggin' fascia because the fascia is connected to your entire body. And so you put it through here, it goes, those waves go through the fascia to the brain. And when he talks about it, he says, and then it goes from the brainstem down the spine and out. through the fascia. So I just love making that connection. So Kym, thank you for letting me do that explanation. Whether that's exact or not, it's certainly my working theory.
Uh-huh. Right. And I think you're right on. For the people that have not studied fascia as much as you have, and you are the special fascia lady and the specialist, I just was in Orlando, Florida, and did a talk with 33 women. And I got in front of the room and asked them all they were all sitting around tables. And I asked them to touch the person beside them. And they did. And they were fine. And I said, and did you get a smile? Did you get a reaction? You touched their skin, you touched their arm, you touched their hand, and they got a reaction.
Yes.
Right? Well, then why would not these patches put on the skin trigger the brain for happiness, for calmness, for, when somebody is upset, what do? We touch their arm or touch their hand. I know that I do that even when they're on the treatment table. I'll touch somebody's hand and I can feel frequency, I can feel emotion. Sure, if I rub their arm, I can feel the fascia, right? I know that it's there. Maybe they don't even know the word fascia.
No.
But it's a vibration. It's tactile. You just touch, and and that's what we're doing with these patches.
Right.
Amazing.
And the interesting thing that just kind of hit me a little bit is one of the biggest groups of people who are getting like truly life transformations from these patches are people who have sensory issues, who are
Yes.
neurodivergent. So when you say, oh, did that make you happy? Yeah, most of us, yes. But those people are like, no, don't touch me.
Exactly.
But you put these patch on if they're able to, stand putting that on. And then I've watched these kids like shift from being crazy nuts to like in the span of maybe 15 minutes, completely
Mhm.
calm down. Now, these are not people who have a belief system
Right.
that might stop them from allowing this kind of an experience.
Right.
I say it
Right.
that way because let's face it, if we believe, oh, yeah, the thing that I love is that when we put on our one of two basic patches from which all of it started, which is the Liberty patch. I happen to also like the Victory, it's very similar. But Jay started everything with this Liberty patch. And the Liberty patch works on the programs of the brain that help you with balance, stability, and muscle activation.
Right. Right.
That's our core stability. If we don't have those, we're aging quickly,
Exactly.
right? So
Exactly.
it just really helps. So the thing that I really love about these is, when I first put it on, when you first put on the Liberty or even the Victory, like, do you go, oh, I feel a big tangible difference? No, until you get tested.
Yeah.
Until somebody pushes you laterally without it and then with it, and you go, wow.
Yeah.
And you have a tangible experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I do have people that put on that Liberty that could feel it instantly.
Wow.
And those are usually people that are acupuncturists.
Yeah, they're real sensitive to everything.
Each and every one, and there seem to be the acupuncture community because I've watched, and they are the naysayers. Oh, this is a patch. We've seen some patches. We don't like the patch. They go on.
Hopefully that.
Yeah, but I want to tell you, they go, I feel different. And it's happened to me right away when I put it on an acupuncturist, which is very interesting. I have put a patch on an acupuncturist, have left her office, and she has texted me, "Get out." And I'm like, "Get out." And so I text as I'm driving, which I shouldn't be doing, but anyway. And I said, "What? And what are you talking about? Get out." And she says, "This thing is amazing. Amazing. Get me more."
And I
It-
must say as well, just as a quick little humorous aside, she must have been from Pittsburgh, because all of us in Pittsburgh always like, get out. So anyway,
I don't know whether she
that's
is. I have to
wild.
ask her. It's been funny, but the thing is, this technology, this type of technology, not as fine tuned as this patch that has nothing in it, no ingredients. How beautiful is that? I don't ever have to worry about, can I put this patch on this patient? What kind of medication could she be on? I don't have to worry about that. But it's been I mean, in where BTT, vibro tactile therapy technology it's been in sensory integration therapy, it's been in autism support, it's been in pain management, it's been athletic performance optimization. I mean, it's not that far out there. It's just what the delivery system is with this patch.
Yeah, it's just an amazing delivery system. I mean,
Mhm.
the only thing you ever have to worry about is, will it stay on? And will you have a little bit of an allergic reaction? You have to keep moving it around so that you don't. I finally found under here. I think I can work. There I go. So I have my two on. Well, this is my victory, and this is my peace. Okay. And for me, my daily cocktail are those two and my defend patch. I will always use this as for immunity.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, Kim, there are so many. Like, if I had my way, I would, which I do, of course, I would, I want to wear the Lumi. I want it for skin. I want joy, because I think that would be really fun. I want ignite, which is just going to amp up your metabolism. I want boost for energy. I'm good with sleep, but oh my gosh, you guys, the REM patch is amazing, because we know sleep is super effective. But anyway, there are patches for, oh, did I mention focus, Renee? For so many things. Um,
Mhm.
but the one thing that you have taught me that I really do agree with, and try my best to do, which is, you are very much a proponent of less is more. And when you're thinking about all the information that each patch is giving to the brain and then to the body, there's so much information.
That's true. That's true.
So if you wear too many at one time, it's like overloading the system. So you really have to watch it. And I know that's something that you've been working really hard at, is to really put together some specifics for people to start with based on what their issues are at the
Right.
moment. Would you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, there are, like cocktails, as some people call them, patching cocktails. Or now I like to call them, what I do is a method.
Mm,
What are we going to, and sometimes you have to play with them. I mean, I am at Liberty, like my husband loves Liberty. I would rather have Victory on, and my body speaks to Victory. My daughter also likes Victory and the Lumi. She loves the skin patch. And I've used Lumi on several different tissue um, conditions and lung conditions, and which is Lumi, tissue,
mhm.
skin, works.
Guts.
Uh, yeah, definitely. And you can put the freedom patch on, it is a pain patch, and put that on the area of pain. And the closest you can get to the pain, you can use that patch. But anyhow, my method is where is at the, it could change. It could change in a month as everything's going. up and talking to the brain, right? It's it's braille for brain, but what happens when the brain is it's all getting together and the neurons and the ions are all going and it's fixing you
Right.
basically, right? It could that happen? Um, but so I just put together a group of patches for each person individually. What's going on with them? If they're having, everybody knows I do infertility treatments. So if they're having difficulty conceiving, then we look at, you know, calming them down so they lose that anxiety because this is a very anxious time for the families and for them, and also the peace and the immune. I want their immune system that I want to reduce inflammation. So I'm going to put that patch on. And then we're going to, play with what else is going on. Lack of sleep, what's going on here, what's going on there in life, in their medical diagnosis or their medical history that I am able to get because I'm a physician. So, but that's what I do. Whether they have anxiety, PTSD, whether they have pain, that happens. They can have pain. So, and we go on and on. And choose the right patch so it's the right method.
Right.
And so, yeah,
And I love the idea too is, you know, some people will just get one patch and that's it and they're good. Beautiful.
sure.
Right. Absolutely. And I know you have so many testimonials of people that that's happened. But again, I think understanding that it might not just be a one patch solution. You
No,
start with one and I know that Jay and you both recommend a base patch, which would be either the Liberty or the Victory for most people, because we want to start balance, stability,
yeah,
right? Balance, stability, and strength. Those are three key components to longevity, to really allowing the body to start to heal. I
yeah,
mean, there's just no
yeah,
question. Those,
definitely. Just like anything, you have to balance the body. You have to calm the body down. You have to be for everything else to work.
right?
Right? I mean, some people say, well, why did you put those acupuncture needles in? Well, this is really a balancing treatment because I have to balance you before we do the, tap dance.
Right,
And so,
right.
yeah,
Right. I love that. So, what's the maximum number of patches typically? Now, I know there's outliers, but
there is.
typically, if you have your druthers, how
I
many do
I
you
like I
typically?
like 4.
Four. Okay,
I
so
like
I
4.
can add my Lumi then. I can
Yeah.
add my Lumi.
Or what you can do, and I've done personally, and I've done for patients, I've done for family and friends, and suggested that let's say you wanted to put on the skin patch,
Mhm,
but you wanted to put on boost.
mhm.
And so the boost patch is, the one for like uh, energy, more
Energy.
energy, things like that. So you could alternate the days.
Uh,
So Lumi one day, boost the next, Lumi then, boost the next.
that's what
And
I'm
that works. That
doing.
works for them. And it could be, if they say, I can't afford all these patches, which they're so affordable and in the grand scheme of things. But maybe then let's alternate them. Jay talks about the joy patch and the peace patch together,
Oh,
and a lot of people love that. They found that they found that for themselves.
mhm.
And I love when people can think for themselves because it's really what it's their instincts are more important than anybody
Absolutely.
else, right?
Yeah.
And they just they're just loving that joy and peace together.
Yes.
So I mean, I love peace. I told you that story before we got on here, how it completely has changed me. Completely.
And you guys, I've been friends with Kim for a long time, and it was probably about 2, 3 weeks ago. I had been out of town. I came back. I'm like, Kim, let's talk. And it was like I was talking to a different person. Really, the I don't want to say chaos because that would give the wrong impression, but there was
Yeah.
just a lot going on. Let me put it that way. It was a chaotic. Kim was kind of just
Always ADD kind of person.
yes, that
Oh,
energy.
yeah. Like, okay, I've written this book, but I got to write this other book, and I have to see these patients, and I've got to go exercise, and I got to take care of family. And it was always like this. And
Yes.
now it seems like now I can feel it. Now I honor it, and now I get that the only thing I'm doing differently is that peace patch.
And how long have you been wearing it? Do you have any idea approximately? Kind of probably when I started with it. You and I started with the patch the same time, so a couple
I
months.
was playing with all the patches, so I would say consistently a month. I mean, consistently.
Right,
It
understood.
doesn't mean I wouldn't put it on here and there, but then let me try this patch and let me try that patch, and
I do.
because yeah, but that peace patch is definitely has changed my life.
Yeah,
And
you absolutely can feel it coming
yeah,
off of
yeah, and like some family things have happened that I would uh, jump in the car and go or figure it out for other people in my family,
it. Mhm.
and no, I am just letting it be and letting it take its course. And not that I don't feel like that is the best option, but that wasn't always what I would do.
Right.
And I just do it.
So I think it's interesting, and I just want to point out again exactly what we just
Yeah,
discovered, which is, we live in such an immediate gratification society, right? I have a headache, I take an aspirin, oh, the headache's gone. Okay. But with this, sometimes you get an immediate reaction, but with something like peace, I'm with you. I don't necessarily put it right on. And I know there are people that put it right on and go, oh my God, I feel that immediately. I'm not one of those, which is interesting because I think I'm pretty sensitive to energy. And that didn't, but the longer that you wear it, you guys, and I think this is true with the pain patch, probably with all of them, but
right.
real tangibility. Um, yeah, 30 days because it takes a while, especially I've known Kim. This is a default pattern in your life. It's been going on your whole life, I would say,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And
Mhm.
and in 1 month,
Yeah.
it shifted.
Yeah.
Now, what else can you say would do that? With
Exactly.
no
No,
with no drugs, with no other intervention.
exactly. And I mean, that's just my personal story. I can tell you about the victory patch that I do swim classes, and I can tell you that I'm able to do 3 or 4 aqua zumas back to back with that victory patch on.
Wow.
Yeah, and not even think about, oh, I'm getting out because I'm kind of, I'm done. And the thing is, that's about this performance patch where you say, I'm done, or I'm feeling the burn, so I'm done, or I've been on this, bike too long. I'm feeling the burn. I'm done. Right. Sometimes you think I could have gone longer, but I'm
Mm,
done. So it's triggering the brain. You can go longer.
yes.
You're okay. You're fine. You're not going to keel over. But that I'm done. I've taken my class. I'm done. Well, no, 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 no. You feel like I can go on because I just feel like I can go on. And I think that is I can run the longer mile, or I can go for a mile instead of half a mile.
Yes.
And that's what that victory patch does,
Yes.
right?
I agree with you completely. So I've been hiking, and when I've been using it consistently, I mean, I'm going. I'm 5 miles in, and it's exactly. And isn't that fascinating? So it's not only this
Yes.
physicality that you can feel, but it is that, and you're so right, Kim. I hadn't necessarily put that together until right now, but you're absolutely right.
It's
Yeah,
the
I could go
emotion.
up that hill a little bit more and a little bit further. Or normally I would go, but I'm afraid I might get too tired by the time I get down. No,
Right, 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 right.
absolutely right.
Yeah, it's the emotional component,
Yes,
right? Which speaks to the brain, right?
yes, absolutely.
That it causes you to, there's so much that triggering the brain, I can heal, homeopathy, which is my thing, how much I love homeopathy, it speaks to the emotional component of the
Yes,
disease,
yes,
right?
yes.
And so this kind of triggers the brain. Well, I can go a little bit longer. And that's why it's performance. That's why, NFL patients, NFL players are using it,
All using
and and fighters or wrestlers, fighters. Anyway, you know what I mean.
I do.
Baseball players and hockey players, they're
Listen,
using this.
everybody, but
Yeah,
especially athletes
yeah,
and weekend warriors and just all of us. I mean,
right,
why
right,
not? Why not get that performance enhancement with absolutely no negative side effects? I
right,
mean, it's breathtaking. It's so exciting. It's
right, right.
so exciting.
And you know how I love these patches. I mean, I love these patches. It has changed my world, personally, obviously, but it also has changed my practice. It's changed how I practice. They just are, they're affordable.
Yes.
They are working. If somebody says they don't work, well, then let's tweak it.
Right.
Let's tweak
Right.
it. Let's talk to you. Why don't you give it a bit?
Right.
Um,
Right.
but I've never had anyone in my practice that said it's not working. So that
Ah,
makes me
I
feel
love
really good. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So, Kym, we are at the half hour, and this has just been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I love the work that you're doing with this. I can't wait to have you on again, and we can maybe even talk about some of the cocktails because I know you're really working on that,
Yeah.
and more about people who are just having amazing results and just continuing this conversation because it's a huge, exciting conversation. And let's face it right now, we all need huge, exciting conversations to be had that are
Mhm.
positive and can really help all of us
Yeah. Yeah.
just live a happier, healthier life.
That's true. That's true.
Love it.
But thank you for having me on,
Thank
and
you.
you know, yeah. So
Thanks,
pass,
guys.
so
And
pass on.
catch on. And thanks for watching, you guys. And I will have a link in the show notes wherever you're seeing this. If you'd like to check it out and get some of your own or have any questions for us, we'll have that available to you. So, once again, thanks so much. And make sure that you move freely, heal deeply, and flow with life. Have a great one. Bye.